So a big part of the philosophy behind my training, and trust me, there's a lot of philosophy. You can't philosophize your way into a paycheck, which is what somebody said. I found that pretty funny. I have no comment on that, but I will say you can philosophize yourself into action as long as you're moving while you're in action. So like, in other words, philosophy is in action, but what it leads to is to do something. And that's what this is all about, this continuous training, this GET training, gradual intensity training. You do what you can do at the time. Your body will tell you what it wants to do. You accept that, like Occam's razor. The most probable solution is right in front of you. If it feels like it's a little bit too daunting or too much for you to go lift heavy weights right in the morning, that's the only time that you have to start walking. Once you're walking, once you get that blood flow, you're sure to do some stretching and some exercise there. When we're bound up and we feel stressed out, there's no way we're going to be able to go through any sort of articulable thought. And if we can't do that, then those thoughts aren't going to be connected to actionable deeds or movements. And so if you can't safely articulate a movement pattern, then why would you even get into that area in the first place? So being realistic about what your goals are, but those goals should be realistically inclined and based in what your needs are. Your joint system, it needs to go through circumduction, it needs to function. Your body, it needs to metabolize. Your blood system, it needs to flow. You need to become more systemic. Most of us need more blood flow in our brains than in our muscles, but it all kind of happens all at once when we stop eating these large meals. So I just took my supplements and I took my first serving of Isopure protein powder, which has a huge list of supplements in it, and that's why I buy it. I couldn't find anything else out there that had a more complete profile. I mean, just take a look at this and tell me that this isn't impressive. Look at this. And so I put that list up into the community post, and I also put it up on the video that I did prior to this. But you can see in the descriptor where I copy-pasted all of the ingredients that are in Isopure and how important it is to be able to get that nutrition in. Because other than just the training aspect of GET training, it's all day, every day, all through the day. It's this mindset of, even if you're having to go to work for 4 or 5 hours at a time, you can only get a walk at lunch. Well, you're still in the mindset, always, to where I need to get back to training. Kind of like a dog. A dog knows when it needs to do something. It'll bark until it can. As soon as it can get out there and exercise, it's gone, you know? That's the same type of attitude that you have to have. But it's not just in the training, it's in the nutritional aspect of it too. And so you can do a lot with your blood flow. You can do a lot at work where you're not fully working out, but you're engaging your core as you're sitting at a desk. Or if you're at a copy machine, maybe that doesn't happen anymore. You're flexing your glutes when nobody's around. You're doing some calf raises. You're flexing your arms a little bit when you're in the john, you know? Don't want to create too much abdominal pressure there though, right? But those Valsalva holds can be very intense, right? But you get the gist of this. It's being in the actionable mind of movement and movement patterns and not letting it go. And so when we look back, if you were an athlete back in high school, college, or maybe it goes back even further than that, you have to kind of connect to that nervous system response of remembrance. And then you kind of wake up how you felt when you were doing that. And that's what keeps us young. That's what keeps us youthful. In fact, I think youth and that term being young is more about just being who you are and what you do. And, you know, back to reference canines, dogs. It's like, even those old dogs, when they get around a body of water and they've swam before, when they see this field before them, that's what we have to imagine when we're going back and forth all day doing continuous training anywhere, all day, all the time, all through the day. You picture that field before you of that fresh cut grass, or, you know, just an unbounding sort of vista that is open to you. Well, that is the attitude behind GET training and continuous training. It's opening yourself up for possibilities of what could be and what will become.